Hi, I'm Leo Chmelnitsky. I come from a traditional background. I have 20 years of traditional finance experience.
Matt Ballenzweig, Managing Director and Head of Go Network at BitGo. Have been in the industry for 7.5 years. I'm super excited to be at this stage of the industry because I think that we are at kind of the precipice of breaking out from an institutionalization perspective. Personally, I've seen the evolution of this market structure from 2017 to now, starting with voice chat in Telegram or Skype, to more systematic execution, and now to partnerships like Finery and BitGo, where we're really kind of game-changing the infrastructure in the ecosystem. So I'm excited to be kind of on the forefront and pioneering kind of new ground for the space.
Very excited to watch the transformation that we're experiencing in digital space. I think the market structure development is on steroids, mimicking equities and FX. Some of my traditional finance background is very applicable to what's happening in crypto. And I'm just super excited about the growth opportunities and what we're partnering with BitGo at this point.
The OTC trading landscape, I'd say, it's come a long way. You know, it started really with just bilateral execution, and I remember my time at Genesis where all of our institutional clients, and at the time this was small hedge funds, progressive asset managers, maybe family offices,
right,
that just wanted to buy and sell Bitcoin in large blocks. And this was back in late 2016, early 2017, and it was pure client to OTC desk, chat execution, email confirms,
right,
very, very archaic market structure. And it started to electronify, I'd say, when some of the high-frequency trading firms came into the space, like Jane Street and Jump Trading, kind of in, I'd say, early 2018 into 2019. And then we started to kind of overlay things like credit, and we saw the birth of derivatives in 2021 and 2022. But then really seeing that whole first model come to a massive collapse because it was over-levered, and the tooling and infrastructure actually didn't catch up with the amount of volume and demand that the space required. So kind of seeing that life cycle of a V1 version of capital markets and crypto from birth to death, I think was really illuminating. And it got me really excited to kind of say, okay, how do we solve some of these infrastructure problems in a way that's a lot more scalable?
Let me take us back, actually, Matt. I totally agree with what you're saying. In fact, 20 years ago when I was at Goldman Sachs, I was in part of the market structure research team. And we looked at the evolution of market structure in equity markets and then later in FX, the duopoly of NYSE and NASDAQ that was broken down by the regulation NMS, regulation ATS, alternative trading system, and how the liquidity has moved away from being 95% or north of 90% at NYSE in NYSE listed stocks to the alternative trading systems, to upstairs brokers, and executing with internalization at the broker dealers. So I think we're seeing a lot of it happening in crypto as well. The centralized exchanges, a retail-driven market, was essentially launched the crypto industry and allowed access to the coins and allowed access for the retails. But now we're really moving into the broker-driven institutional market, where we're providing much deeper liquidity, we're providing more services, whether it's derivatives, whether it's spot trading. And I think the pain points that we experienced after FTX collapsed, just like what you said, was very painful for a number of people in the industry and a lot of participants. But at the same time, it taught us that the industry has to evolve. We need to look at the counterparty risk. We need to value liquidity. We need to evaluate who is providing quotes and how you're managing the settlement risk, the clearing risk. And this is where our partnership, I think, is really solving these broad challenges in the industry. And I think it allows us to move forward and provide the central clearing capabilities, providing the custody, and providing the new revolutionizing OTC trading landscape for the entire industry.
And that's why I joined BitGo, is to kind of work on these exact problems. But I still think today, right, the OTC landscape is very fragmented. There are still, right, the pieces haven't come together in the way they need to. There are OTC trading desks that don't offer custody. There are custodians that have no trading solution. There are prime brokers that can't connect those two things.
Exactly.
And so you're seeing this very fragmented trading environment. I think credit is dried up entirely because the ecosystem hasn't actually meshed well. And so from a risk mitigation perspective, there's no way for lenders to actually get comfortable with the way that the trading dynamic has gone down. Right. So I think there's a lot of work to do to kind of bring these pieces together in a one-stop shop solution that really combines elements of like custody and settlement and trading. So yeah, excited to kind of work on some of these current challenges in the OTC landscape today.
Well, the partnership, I think, has two distinct components. Our partnership allows any broker, OTC desk, or exchange to leverage Finery Markets liquidity, matching engine, risk management components, and the entire technology suite to also work with a central clearing counterparty like BitGo and provide the regulated custody for all the assets. So I think we're really revolutionizing the institutional crypto industry. We're moving towards a much more stable environment, much more secure, much more confident, and I think institutions need that. Finery Market specifically brings the best execution because we have over a dozen of liquidity providers streaming pricing live. We're the only ECN on the market that offers firm pricing along with the RFQ technology. And it allows us to provide the best execution practices from the traditional finance to the large institutions that are entering the market now. So we have the maturity of the market structure at the same time as we're doing the partnership with BitGo and provide the custody and settlement infrastructure behind the execution.
I think, from my perspective, this partnership has a massive, we have a massive opportunity with this partnership. BitGo has built its foundation on providing, a true custody experience for our clients in the most institutional form. So we're one of the largest institutional custodians today. We offer qualified cold storage, insured, SOC 1, SOC 2 compliant custody for 1,000 plus institutional clients today.
Right.
But something that we've realized is the fact that not only do we want to safeguard those assets, we want to be able to create utility for the assets that are sitting inside of BitGo and for our clients. And so last year we launched Go Network, which was really the first step in kind of bridging or kind of creating the middle of the Venn diagram between safeguarding and security and also creating utility and connecting those assets back to the market structure. At the end of the day, I think BitGo wants to give our clients the most amount of options in terms of where they can find liquidity, and we want to tap into all of these small pockets of where liquidity is today and say, great, how can we use BitGo's Go Network as the bedrock for all of these kind of miniature ecosystems of trading and liquidity that we're seeing around the space? And kind of going back to my point earlier around just the fragmentation of what we see today is, can we create a unified experience where you have both the front end in Finery, the actual order matching, the order book, the non-toxic flow, but also the back end and automated settlement and clearing components that BitGo has to offer to all of these pockets of trading ecosystems. So, I think this partnership, for in our view, it really serves, I'd say, three kinds of market participants today. Number one would be any OTC that has a book of takers that they face off against, and whether they're providing their own liquidity or they're getting streaming liquidity elsewhere, they can now say, great, let's actually offer that from a custodial perspective as well, and we'll take all the bilateral settlements out of the picture. BitGo will do all of that for you. Your assets will be held in qualified custody, and then every day, all those positions will be settled across the book. I think exchanges is another one, Exchanges can actually bring their CLOBs or their order books on top of this turnkey solution and have the custodial kind of back end to it as well. And then lastly, primes, Folks that actually provide credit or create market access for their counterparts can now build that with BitGo as the back end custody provider and Finery as the front end really UI and API trading experience. So I'm super excited to kind of go market participant by market participant and attack each one of these things and bring together this unified experience from end to end. So I think that's really, why now, why this partnership. That's what gets me excited about it. And I think there's a lot we can do.